Hey guys, Dixie here, and you can see my dog in the background, Lulu, sleeping. She's right there. Thank you for joining us today, me and my dog. I want to go ahead and do my first ever reading roundup today. I have books that I haven't talked about on the channel yet that I've read recently, 3 physical, 3 audio. I also have a stack of books here next to me that I bought recently on some little travels I did. And then I also want to talk about 2 books that I am currently reading. So stay tuned. Okay, let's get started. So, books I've read recently. Let's go. As you all know, I did talk about this. Champagne Supernovas by Maureen Callahan. Yeah, it was hard for me to finish this one. It is a triple biography of Marc Jacobs, Alexander McQueen, and Kate Moss. And it just kind of chronicled the ups and downs of their lives, but mostly the downs. And it just kind of drug on for me. The writing, however, I really did enjoy. Let me get my notes here. I loved her writing style, but I didn't love the book. So I gave it 3 stars, which I thought was pretty generous. I did finally finish it, so I'm happy about that. Moving on, another book I read recently is The Emotionary, and I'll read the subtitle for you. A Dictionary of Words That Don't Exist for Feelings That Do. And this is written by Eden Sher and Julia Wirtz. So Eden Sher was / is an actress. She was most famously known for her role on The Middle, which is a great family show. Super underrated in my opinion. And Julia Wirtz is a comic graphic novel artist that I love and I followed for many, many years. So basically this book, you can see on one page we have the word. So it's usually a combination. Of a couple words. Yeah. And then there's a comic on this side of the page, and that's pretty consistent throughout. Not every page has a comic. This to me was more like a coffee table book. I probably shouldn't have read it straight through, but I just kind of wanted to get it out of here. I don't recommend it. I don't remember any of the words she made up. I'm going to be honest with you. One reviewer I saw on Goodreads wrote this about this book. They said, "I don't have words to describe how boring this book is." Yeah, if it weren't for the artwork, I probably would have stopped reading this completely. I did not rate it because I felt like, how can you rate a coffee table book? It will be leaving my collection. And the final physical book I want to talk about, I took the dust jacket off. Do I know where it is? No. It is Dear Dad by Louis Anderson. And the subtitle is, so the full title with the subtitle is Dear Dad, Letters from an Adult Child. And this book is Louis writing to his dad who'd passed away many, many years ago, and basically confronting him about his alcoholism and asking him questions that he's obviously not going to answer. So it's more like a philosophical exercise in a way. But there's a lot of funny stories from Louis' childhood in here. There's a lot of poignant moments, especially later on when the father gets sick and is dying, and how Louis relates to him then and post his death. Which are, pretty deep. So, yeah, I love this book. I wouldn't give it a 5-star. I would probably give it 4. But I can't give Louis anything less than a 4 because I'm Minnesotan. So I love Louis. I've been rewatching Baskets, which has been so much fun. If you don't know, that was a show by Louis C.K., Zach Galifianakis, and Louis Anderson played Zach's mom on the show. So freaking phenomenal performance. So if you haven't checked Baskets out, I would recommend it. The 3 audiobooks I'm going to go through fairly quickly. So I read mostly thriller on audio because I have the attention span of a gnat, and I listen to them at like 1.5 speed so that I pay attention. The latest, let's start with the latest. So the latest one I read was Genuine Fraud. I'll post a picture here, by E. Lockhart. And E. Lockhart wrote We Were Liars, which was, I think, the bigger book that she's written. The narrator in this book, I don't want to give too much away, but they're basically unreliable. And turns out that they are maybe a sociopath. I don't know. I never really got quite a handle on it. And the timeline was told in reverse, which was kind of difficult for audio, to be honest, because it had dates and you're not going to remember the date. I don't know. So I gave it 3-star. It was okay. The last hour and a half I was really sick of it though. And then the next book was The Girls' Weekend by Jody Gehrman. And it was a bunch of women that got together. I think they're in their 30s for kind of a bridal shower or baby shower / girls' weekend. Just catty. Like they all really don't like each other. Someone dies and then it turns into like Clue, but worse than Clue because Clue is entertaining. It held my attention, I will say, but I did not like the main character, so I gave it 3 stars. Probably should have gave it 2. And the last audio that I want to talk about was called The In-Laws. I don't have the author written down here, but I will post a picture of the cover here. This was my favorite of the 3. It follows a woman who was recently married to a man that she'd never met the parents of. Kind of weird. The parents live like a 4-hour hike into the woods from the road from this remote area. And so they went out there for a weekend and things get really weird. And you question throughout like who is the problem here and what's going on. I thought it wrapped up really, really well. The twists to me were good. Again, I'm not a huge thriller fan. It's just I end up listening to them because I can pay attention. So if you're really into thrillers, maybe you saw the twist coming in this one, but I didn't. So I will give that caveat. But yeah, the ending was really satisfying. Everything just wrapped up so nicely. And I do like that in a thriller. I gave it 4 stars. Would I read it again? No. Would I recommend it? Maybe. So that's kind of the gist of what I've been reading other than what I've been showing on the channel. So these were just books I hadn't reviewed yet. Moving on, we went on a little family event road trip this weekend. Ended up driving past a sign for the Buccaneer, like Buccaneer, but Buccaneer. And I thought, wow, Buccaneer sounds really interesting. On the way back, we stopped and it was really interesting. It was only open for about a year. It's in Chatfield, Minnesota. And the owner was super nice guy. The store had ephemera. The store had really nice sections of books, like organized well. You can see here, this is one my husband bought. So my husband's into science fiction, and they had tons of science fiction, like super old original prints, green page and everything. So this one's called When the Sky Burned, a novel by Ben Bova. Again, I don't really read sci-fi, so if you do, I don't know, is that good? And then another book he got was Science Fiction Tales, and I wanted to show this because look at the pictures on here, the illustrations. There's a big old dragon on the back with She-Ra on it or somebody. So those are the books he picked up. I'll go through the books I picked up. So they didn't have a huge fiction section, but what they had was kind of interesting. Some of it was really old. They actually had a volume set of Guy de Maupassant. I'm probably saying that wrong, but he's one of my favorite writers, like old writers. But I didn't buy it. It was so expensive. Rightfully so. It was very old. I did pick up Martin Amis's Heavy Water and Other Stories. So this, Martin Amis was a writer that I remember reading with my group of friends in the early / mid 2000s when I really got into reading. And he wrote the book called The Information, and we all read that. And I can't remember if I liked it or not, but I remembered his name. So I was like, I'll pick this up for $3 and see if I can connect with it. Another book I bought, Trout Fishing in America by Richard Brautigan. If you saw my time capsule book haul, I had 2 books by Richard Brautigan that I really liked. I have owned this book before. I didn't know where my copy was. I think I got rid of it. So I bought this. Short stories, writer from the 60s, very cool. And then final book, Winesburg, Ohio by Sherwood Anderson. And if you look closely, it's kind of like a strange watercolor cover. I thought I'd never seen a book like that. So yeah, Winesburg, Ohio is a classic book that's very underrated. it's kind of like, I believe, if I remember correctly, like interconnected short stories about this town. And I love this. I remember when I read it, I loved it. So I'm glad to have that back in my collection. And then on a different day, I stopped at a truck. There was a truck, put a picture here, selling books. So I had to stop, I had to check it out. I didn't have a lot of time, but I ended up just grabbing a book here. Just Watch Me by Leor Torenberg. If you can see, the artwork is really cool. And it's about a young woman, who she becomes a streamer to make extra money, I guess. She's in dire straits. So I'm 35 pages in. I don't love it. I really don't. The main character is an asshole. Kind of unredeemable in my eyes, but the idea of writing a book on live stream is kind of cool. You can see here, maybe you can't, I'm peeking under the chat. So this is the live stream chat. And so some of the book is told through that, which I thought was really interesting. I might DNF. I'm not going to lie. I read a bunch of reviews because I'm like, am I just missing something here? It's very Gen Z coded. And I'm not Gen Z. I'm a elder millennial, as they say. So we'll see if I can get through it. I'll probably give it to 50 or 60 pages. So we'll see on that. I'll get back to you. And then the final book. So this is the book that I'm reading currently. I just started last night. This book was in my recent book haul, my large book haul. Willa Cather's My Antonia. And this is the 100th anniversary edition, which has a introduction by Jane Smiley, whom I've never read. Her books Moo and the Acres book or whatever. I would love to read Jane Smiley, and if you have read her, please recommend one of her titles below so I can get that. But when I showed this, a viewer had commented that I thought that I would really enjoy it. He thought I would really enjoy it. So I'm going to go ahead and read that now. I am just into the introduction currently. So we will see. There are 2 introductions, the Jane Smiley one, which I read most of. I'm not a big introduction reader. I don't know. Are you? I could take it or leave it with introductions. So I read most of Jane Smiley's, got kind of bored. So then I started reading the original introduction, which is by Willa Cather herself. And the way she describes things, I already can tell I'm going to like her writing. So I'm super excited about this. Stay tuned. I will definitely review this. I will definitely not DNF it. I can't guarantee. I can't guarantee. And then I am also just starting an audiobook. I'm going to pull it up here on Libby so I get the title correct. It's called The Guide by Peter Heller. Post a picture right here. And so far I'm liking it. It's a story about a fishing guide that gets hired in a really remote area. And it was described as a literary thriller, and I love literary fiction, so we will see how that goes. Yeah, so far so good. I like the old man narrating it. I like his voice, and that really helps with audiobooks, as you know. So upcoming, I want to talk about that really quick. Where did my note go? I have a note. I redid my Teapot TBR, which I actually have not shown on this channel. So I do have a Teapot TBR I've had for months, but I've used it a little bit. That's how I started reading Dear Dad, because I pulled it. But what I did before was I had each title in there, and then I would pull 3 to 4, and then I would pick from the titles which one I wanted to read. However, this time I recently saw a video from August is Reading, who I've watched for years, and she's just come back and is doing TBR again, like a jar pull. And she does more like prompts. So like the Youngs and the Restless do, where it's like, pick a pink book, or pick the book that's on your TBR the longest. So I redid my TBR. I actually have all the papers here that I got to put in my teapot. So we'll be doing a video picking my July reads upcoming. And then I'm also going to do a video I don't want to do. And that is the newbie book tag. I've been putting it off. I filmed once all the questions from the newbie booktuber tag. I can't remember what it's called. Those of you who are familiar with booktube know. I hate the questions. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like them. But I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I was going to ask that if you have any questions for me, please drop them below, because I will answer those as well during that tag. I'm going to try to keep my answers more succinct. The reason I didn't post the first version of it that I did is that it got kind of long and rambly. So now that I've been here for 10 or 11 videos, I have more of a sense of my channel and where I want to go. So I think it'll be better that I waited. So stay tuned for that. Those of you who are liking and commenting and subscribing, it means the world to me. As you'll see in my newbie book tag, I just want to have a community of people I can talk books with. So I am so grateful for each and every one of you. It really makes my day to, especially to talk to you guys. So thank you for joining me. Thank you if you're still here, and keep reading. See you next time.